Israel is on high alert, Iran is issuing serious threats, and Donald Trump is openly considering military action against Tehran. Is the Middle East heading toward another major war? In this video, we break down what's really happening behind the headlines. Stay with us until the end, because every second matters. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing a development that could reshape the entire Middle East. The Israel Defense Forces have raised their alert level following growing warnings from Iran. This is not a routine security drill or a symbolic move. According to regional intelligence assessments, Israel is preparing for the possibility of a surprise attack. At the same time, former U.S. President Donald Trump has reignited tensions by openly discussing military options against Tehran. This combination has made the situation far more dangerous. On one side stands Iran's ideologically driven leadership, and on the other is Israel's uncompromising security doctrine. History shows that when warnings like these begin to surface, events often escalate quickly. Diplomatic language is being replaced by military readiness, and the margin for error is shrinking fast. Public statements, intelligence leaks, and sudden troop movements all suggest that something serious may be approaching. In this video, we will explain why the IDF raised its alert level, what Iran's warnings truly mean, and how Trump's role is adding fuel to an already volatile situation. This is not just about regional politics. It is about global security, economic stability, and the risk of a conflict that could spread far beyond Israel and Iran. For Israel, security is not a political slogan, but a matter of survival. When the IDF raises its alert level, it signals that the threat is being taken seriously. In recent days, senior Iranian military figures have issued direct warnings toward Israel, using language that suggests consequences rather than rhetoric. Historically, Iran uses such language when plans may already be in motion. Israel has responded by increasing readiness across multiple domains, including air defense systems, intelligence units, and cyber capabilities. This is not limited to one border or one front. Israel is concerned about coordinated attacks involving Iran's regional allies such as Hezbollah, Hamas, and other proxy forces. A multi-front confrontation is Israel's worst-case scenario, and preventing surprise is a top priority. Israel's military doctrine has always favored early preparation and decisive action. Waiting for confirmation is often considered too risky. Trump's statements add another layer of complexity. Even without holding office, his words carry weight. When Washington signals possible military action, Tehran views it as escalation. Israel understands that any perceived alignment between the United States and Israel could push Iran toward a preemptive response. This is where the danger lies. Each side is reacting to perceived intentions rather than confirmed actions, increasing the risk of miscalculation. Iran's warnings should not be dismissed as empty threats. State media and analysts linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard are pushing a consistent message that any Israeli action will receive an unprecedented response. This wording is deliberate and strategic. Iran often relies on psychological pressure to unsettle its opponents. However, the timing of these warnings is especially significant. Iran is facing economic strain, international sanctions, and internal dissatisfaction. External confrontation can be used to consolidate domestic support and distract from internal problems. Taking a hard stance against Israel helps rally hardline supporters. Iran rarely engages in direct warfare. Instead, it relies heavily on regional proxies operating in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. Israel's heightened alert reflects this reality. The threat does not come from one direction alone. Trump's discussion of military action against Tehran is viewed by Iran as a direct threat to regime survival. Even if such statements are political, Tehran treats them as real. Trump's influence extends beyond formal power structures. His rhetoric impacts markets, alliances, and regional calculations. Iran's leadership believes that creating uncertainty and fear may strengthen its deterrence. This is why warnings are becoming louder and more public. Unfortunately, this strategy also increases the risk of escalation. Donald Trump's role in this situation cannot be underestimated. During his presidency, he adopted a confrontational approach toward Iran, withdrawing from agreements and authorizing bold actions. The killing of Qasem Soleimani set a clear precedent that the United States was willing to use force. Now, Trump's renewed talk of military options against Tehran raises alarm across the region. For Israel, his stance is often interpreted as strategic support. For Iran, it represents an existential threat. Trump's unpredictability makes his statements particularly destabilizing. He favors pressure and strength over diplomacy, and his words often carry implications beyond policy. Israeli defense planners are aware that perceived U.S. backing could prompt Iran to act first. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. Iran reacts to American rhetoric, Israel reacts to Iranian responses, and tensions escalate rapidly. Trump's influence also affects oil prices, financial markets, and diplomatic calculations worldwide. Even without official authority, his statements shape expectations. The IDF's high alert is therefore not only a response to Iranian threats, but also preparation for sudden shifts in U.S. policy signals. In such an environment, a single incident or misinterpreted move could trigger a broader conflict. The greatest danger in the Middle East has always been miscalculation. When multiple actors operate under pressure, even a small mistake can trigger a major war. Israel's history has ingrained a deep fear of surprise attacks. As a result, warnings are treated with maximum seriousness. Iran understands this and often exploits psychological warfare. Trump's statements introduce uncertainty that magnifies existing tensions. They may be intended as leverage, but Tehran interprets them as preparation for action. Intelligence agencies now face the difficult task of separating real threats from strategic bluffing. Israel's high alert does not mean war is inevitable, but it does indicate that risk levels have crossed a critical threshold. The region is already strained by ongoing conflicts in Gaza, Lebanon, and the Red Sea. Opening another front could overwhelm regional stability. Every movement, statement, and signal is being analyzed. The current phase, where nothing happens yet everything feels possible, is often the most dangerous. Prolonged uncertainty erodes restraint. This is why regional actors are on edge. Deterrent strategies are colliding, and the room for error is shrinking rapidly. Global powers are closely monitoring these developments. Russia and China maintain strategic relationships with Iran, while European nations seek de-escalation. However, diplomacy becomes increasingly difficult when military readiness dominates the narrative. Iran portrays the situation as external pressure on its sovereignty, a message aimed at both domestic and international audiences. Israeli planners are focused on worst-case scenarios, including sustained missile barrages and coordinated proxy attacks. Israel's defense systems are advanced, but no system is invulnerable to saturation. Trump's discussion of military options convinces Iranian leaders that time may be working against them. This perception encourages risk-taking rather than restraint. Each side believes it must demonstrate strength to maintain credibility. The problem is that deterrence and provocation often look identical in practice. When both sides attempt to deter simultaneously, escalation becomes more likely. If this cycle continues unchecked, a conflict could emerge that no party originally intended. The consequences would extend well beyond the region. Media narratives play a powerful role in shaping this crisis. Israeli media emphasizes defense and preparedness. Iranian outlets frame Israel's actions as aggression. Pro-Trump platforms portray Iran as a global threat requiring decisive action. This information war amplifies fear and limits diplomatic flexibility. Public opinion pressures leaders into adopting tougher positions. For the IDF, silence can be strategic. Israel often reveals little while preparing extensively. Iran takes the opposite approach, using loud rhetoric and symbolism. Trump's communication style further complicates matters. His rhetoric frequently moves faster than policy, but adversaries treat words as intentions. Israel plans for worst-case outcomes, assuming threats are real. Iran prioritizes regime survival above all else. Trump prioritizes strength and leverage. These competing priorities are colliding. When survival instincts dominate decision-making, compromise becomes rare. This is the environment we are witnessing today, where tension feeds on perception rather than action. The economic dimension of this crisis cannot be ignored. Rising tensions between Iran and Israel immediately affect oil markets and global investor confidence. Trump's military rhetoric has already increased uncertainty. Israel's high alert sends a signal that instability may worsen. Iran's economy is already under severe pressure from sanctions. A military confrontation would deepen economic hardship. While Iran leaves the door to negotiations slightly open, public threats make de-escalation harder. Israel prioritizes security over economic considerations, but prolonged tension impacts civilian morale. Trump's posture risks extending this uncertainty. Each day without conflict offers temporary relief, yet the underlying instability remains. Markets react not to events but to expectations. This persistent uncertainty is itself destabilizing. History shows that wars in the Middle East often begin unintentionally. Fear, misreading, and rapid reactions have triggered conflicts before. Today's environment is no different. Technology has advanced, but human psychology remains unchanged. Israel's high alert is rational from its perspective, yet Iran perceives it as preparation for attack. Trump's rhetoric may be political, but Tehran treats it as warning. This perception gap is where conflict begins. Diplomatic channels are essential, but become harder to use when public statements dominate. Israel will not compromise on security. Iran will not allow its deterrence image to weaken. Trump will not retreat from projecting strength. These objectives clash directly. Analysts warn that the coming weeks may be decisive. Either tensions cool through diplomacy, or a single incident alters everything. History suggests that moments like these are turning points. In conclusion, this crisis extends beyond Israel and Iran. It represents a test of global stability. The IDF's high alert, Iran's warnings, and Trump's military signals form a volatile triangle. Every side claims to avoid war, yet actions suggest otherwise. This contradiction has fueled many conflicts in the past. Patience and clear communication are critical, but political pressure often overrides caution. Israel will act to protect its citizens. Iran will take risks to preserve influence. Trump will continue projecting strength. This combination is unstable. The purpose of this video is to help you understand the reality behind the headlines. In an era of panic and propaganda, informed awareness is essential. Every update matters. Staying informed is the best defense against misunderstanding and fear.